Breaking news. So Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia promoter, came out threatening that he will cancel Ryan Garcia fight, or exhibition, I should say. Oscar De La Hoya said, quote, "GoldenBoy Promotions has exclusive rights to Ryan Garcia fights. The organizers of this event have acknowledged as such and have agreed in writing that our sign-off is needed for this event to occur, as no such sign-off has been given. As of today, there is no event with Ryan Garcia." End of the quote. This is basically Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia promoter, boycotting the exhibition since he's not involved, since he's not getting the bag, and he wants part of the bag, basically. Make no mistake here, though, Oscar De La Hoya is in the right here. After all, he is Ryan Garcia promoter for a reason. He has to approve for Ryan Garcia to be involved in this exhibition. Nevertheless, previously, I was saying that Ryan Garcia was making it harder on his lawyers to get the job done when he cheated against Devin Haney, to at least do damage control and cover for him. But I can honestly say, after seeing Ryan Garcia make his return to the ring before Devin Haney, you can't deny the fact that Ryan Garcia team, his lawyers, did a tremendous job. You will never see stuff like this only in the sport of boxing. How the hell is it the fighter that cheated, Ryan Garcia, who took PEDs and got suspended for taking PEDs, first of all, doesn't have to do random style drug testing during his suspension, so he can still cheat. He can still take PEDs all he wants. Second of all, he's making his return to the ring before the fighter he cheated, Devin Haney. That makes no sense whatsoever. This is what makes boxing the wild, wild west of all sports. Forget about all that, though. If I'm Devin Haney right now, I'm punching the wall and everything, pissed as hell. I'd be burning inside. But I tell you this, I will be on the phone with my lawyer telling him that he needs to subpoena the commission for this type of corruption, that some way, somehow, Ryan, who is supposed to be suspended, is doing an exhibition, having a comeback fight before Devin. Shit. Yeah, the commission got to be subpoenaed. How the hell is it the commission did not put it in writing that Ryan cannot have an exhibition outside of the USA? If so, then that will extend his suspension for 2 to 3 to 5 years. Problem solved. Along with forcing Ryan to do random style drug testing during his suspension, or he will never get his license. That's the least thing they could have done. Instead of having a pointless suspension where he could still do an exhibition and make money, while at the same time be on PEDs. How the hell is Ryan getting suspended for cheating by taking PEDs, but during his suspension, he doesn't have to do random style drug testing? Like I said before, this defeats the purpose of the suspension, which is why the commission has to be investigated. It sounds like there's some higher power involved with this decision that the commission made. Remember, the New York State Athletic Commission, whoever was running it, they resigned right before this case. Then they did a joke of a ruling where they did a deal with the devil himself. They allowed Ryan to fight during his suspension. They allowed Ryan to take PEDs during his suspension, and even the money they fined him didn't even go to Devin Haney. It went to his promoter, GoldenBoy, Oscar De La Hoya. How does that make sense? The math is not mathing. I remember back in the day when Rigan Diaz beat Donaire in one of the biggest fights on HBO at that time, perhaps even the biggest fight of the year on HBO at that time. I'm talking about significance. Well, HBO put Donaire on a commercial, and they brought Donaire back on television before Rigan Diaz, the man who beat him. How does that make sense? Well, that corruption on steroids is what's happening to Devin Haney, because Ryan Garcia, who cheated during his suspension, is having a comeback fight before Devin Haney. That being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Here's the way it works, and I'm sure Chris also understands, because Chris partially explained this to me as well. Here's how it works when you're microdosing. So you bigger dose off season, which is not when there's no fights and nobody's getting tested, because boxing is the Wild West and doesn't test in between fights. Yep. And then you're microdosing during camp. And when you're microdosing, it is trapped in the fat and therefore not going into your bloodstream, so therefore it's harder to catch you. When a fighter struggles to make weight, sometimes they're losing all that fat and you get a little bit of tricklage coming out of the fat, and the drugs will come out in small spurts. That's why they're always caught in small doses. And people, the moronic part of the population will say, oh, that's not enough to help him. No, that's just the part that finally leaked
It's the leftovers, essentially.
Yes, and because they struggle in weight, which is also a typical thing when you start to think about it, why guys keep moving up in weight. So there's less struggles when they're doping to make weight, and therefore they keep moving up in weight and keep showing no signs of weakening and no signs of aging and no signs of, we don't have to name names. The boxing's rife with it, you know? But nonetheless, now when I started to learn this part, because every single time a guy fails, I'm always asking questions and I'm always learning a little bit more. And this time, when it came to this microdosing situation, it's a big way to beat even the random drug tests, because it's not going to show up unless you're really draining yourself. So therefore, it makes sense why guys keep moving up in weight. So Ryan was struggling to make the weight, and he failed right at the end. But he passed in the middle of camp. This kind of explanation is an explanation worth looking into when it comes to his failed B test, B sample. As for the lawyers, they're going to play lawyer and they're going to manipulate it as much as possible and mention that he passed those tests in the middle of camp. Well, I just explained to you in the method that microdosing work why he would have passed the tests in the middle of camp but failed at the very end. Because at the very end was when he was drained. Remember, he struggled to make weight. He was drained, and therefore the substances start coming out, which also explains why he's now talking about fighting at welterweight, junior middleweight, super middleweight against Benavidez. You also get a little bit of sense of why he would do that as well if this is the case. So once you know how the science of it works, you start to really put things together. You can reach your own conclusions. If you want to be a groupie, you can and reach no conclusions. But I'm the person who's going to keep thinking about and keep thinking about not just fighters now, like Ryan, but also fighters in the past, fighters that have failed, fighters that have not failed, and so on and so forth. Really puts a light bulb over the situation.
Have you had a chance to talk to Saul, to Canal, Ryan? Have you had a chance to talk to him?
Hey, what if a boxing league? Why isn't a boxing league where you can do steroids?
I think they have. It's called the enhanced game.
No, it's called Pride FC in Japan.
Is it?
Yeah, Pride.
That shit's nuts.
Pride in the contract said you're allowed to use steroids. Hey, that's the only way it's even. Let everyone juice.
I think you've been in the ring with someone that sounds like
Oh yeah, I thought Oscar Dortmund was steroid. That motherfucker is crazy.
Why?
I hit him with some shit.
Yeah.
Bro, this dude.
Terminated.
I'm not, okay, bro. Relax.